Welcome to episode 83 of Shane Talks Great Shanexpectations. We're going to talk about expectations in film coming up. But as always, I am joined by the greatest co-host in the history of podcasting, Mr. Jason L. Mayer. How you doing tonight, sir? What's up?
Doing well. I'm
Oh,
doing good.
always a pleasure, always fun. So let's it's just you and me this month. With everything going on, I didn't secure us any guests. I just felt like you and I could just roll solo or duo this episode. So we're gonna. I feel like go off on quite a few tangents. I got a bunch of things in my notes that are not on topic to talk about. So we got all kinds of stuff that we're gonna be able to talk about. My first question for you, man, is what's your coming attraction? What's coming up soon that you're excited about?
Um,
Yeah, that's a lot of silence, man. That's some dead air. I'm excited we're a month away from going to Disney together. Oh, wait. We talked about that last episode.
yeah, we
Probably
did.
can't we probably
Uh,
can't reuse that, can I?
no, we
Uh,
probably shouldn't.
yeah, we are a month away from that Disney. Yeah.
Um, the NFL draft. That's what I'm going to say. I'm excited about. Sure, that's what I'll go
Okay.
with. Now,
All right, cool. I mean, sure. I guess I'm excited about that too. And on NFL topic, your Patriots hired a new head coach. How do you feel about that?
uh, solid. I
The
mean,
hire?
Gerard Mayo's been there. They've been talking about him being possible head coach candidates. He was 2 years ago. Last year um, he was up for another one, but he chose not to, so that he could essentially sign on with the Patriots long term. And then, yeah, apparently that's a done deal. I won the fantasy football league that we are in.
Quit living in the past. Quit living in the past.
Well, that happened in January after we recorded that episode,
Yeah,
so I won.
congratulations, by the way, on that. You joined Troy and I on the podcast Troy and I do about our fantasy football league, so it was good to chat with you about that. Congratulations, sir. I don't know. I'm not trying to say it was rigged, but the commissioner winning the league, I don't know how I feel
How am I,
about.
am I supposed to not participate not supposed to have a team in my league?
Well, no, but shouldn't that make you ineligible for the playoffs and ineligible for winning?
Which means that I don't pay $20 to join our league.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about this anymore. Like it raised all kinds of questions and concerns that it didn't raise when Dave won the league. But whatever. It's. I'm living in the moment.
So
Well, man,
anyway,
I have a
yeah.
coming attraction I'm excited about, and it includes you. And it's not the fact that we're going to Disney in exactly a month from today, and we're going to build Star Wars lightsabers together. Aside from that, you and I are going to go see Creed together.
Maybe.
Why are you a maybe now? I thought we were set on doing this together, man. Don't be the reason. Don't be the new reason why I don't get to go see Creed 25 years or 24 years later. Don't be the new
Put
reason
that
why
on me, Ricky Bobby.
I thought that was set
Yeah.
in stone. We're gonna go see Creed together
We'll
in
go see
August.
it. We'll go see Creed. I have it on my calendar. We just gotta, nut up and buy the
Give
ticket.
me another heart attack there for a second, man. Like I can't do that. I gotta go see Creed this year, man. I gotta go. It's been a long time since they've come back to Indianapolis as like the original Creed. But we have to go together. Don't do this to me, Jason. Don't. Because you've seen what I do to people that make me miss Creed. I hold it against them for 20 plus years.
That's true. This is true.
Exactly.
I've
This
seen
is
it.
very true. Normally, this would be the point of the show where we talked about a poll that you put up. Yeah, you did put up a poll this month, but we're going to actually hold on to talking about that because it directly relates to our main event or our main feature presentation. I don't even know what the fuck the shows are called anymore. It directly relates to the feature presentation, so we're going to hold off on talking about the poll. But I have a new thing I want to talk about. Our first
Okay.
tangent for the night. I didn't think about it last month when we did the January episode, so we're going to do January and February together right now. You know what this year is the 25th anniversary of, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure I brought it up last episode. Yeah, this is the 25th anniversary of 1999. Yes, and so we need to talk about the albums and music that was released in 1999, because I don't go into that when I talk about the movies on the Shane Talks 99 podcast. So you and I need to talk about the music from 1999, because there was some amazing music in 1999. Now let's look at January real quick. There's only two albums that came out in January that mattered, in my opinion. How you were a Britney Spears fan, right?
I mean, I was an 18-year-old kid when this happened. Yeah,
Sure.
I
Yeah,
was a Britney Spears fan.
Britney fan. So, Baby One More Time, her album came out on January 12th of 1999. The reason why it's important is because on one of the songs on that album was You Drive Me Crazy, which was used in the 1999 film Drive Me Crazy. So it definitely relates to movies. Did you like that album? Did you own that album? I never owned the album. I owned the soundtrack to Drive Me Crazy, but I never owned that album.
Yes, I owned the album.
Nice.
I was a pop fan of the 90s.
Oh,
So
do we have a cameo on there? Do we have a cameo?
Good night, Dad. Good night,
Hey,
Shane.
what's up, Nick? Good to see you, man. We missed you last month, so I'm glad you were able to join us. You have a good night, sir. Always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, night, Shane. Have a great night.
You
Thank you.
too.
Love
good
you.
night, buddy. I love you too. My
Well,
dog
always
is trying to play tug of war with me.
very nice. It's always good to keep the dog entertained while we're talking.
So
We'll get a Bella cameo at some point on the episode too. All right, so you did
yeah,
Drive Me Crazy or Baby One More Time. What
I
about
did own
Sugar
that.
Rush
Yeah,
or
the other
Sugar
one.
Rush?
Yeah, I did not own that album.
Okay, there was only one good track on that whole album, in my opinion. That's every morning. Is that the name of the song? Yeah, that's it. When I was thinking about the album, that's the only track I remember from that album.
Did you own that?
No, I might have owned that single because well, let's be honest. I know how I had that on a CD. I used Napster and I downloaded that song because I did not want to pay for that album. So that's probably because I know I listened to that song in my car when I was rolling around. But we'll be honest, that was probably something I got off Napster. I never bought that album. I liked Sugar Ray, and Sugar Ray opened for somebody that I went and saw in concert. Maybe one of my Goo Goo Dolls times I went, maybe. Um, but I've seen Sugar Ray in concert, and that's really the only song I really remember from Sugar Ray, period. So,
Before
yeah.
COVID, Fisher's had a concert that was put on by the city, and Sugar Ray literally performed down the street from my house, and not even at Ruoff down the street. I mean, right behind the Jack's Donuts. Uh, like
Wow.
yeah, they actually built like an outdoor stage for this concert and this event, and it was right behind Jack's Donuts.
Oh,
So
wow. My, how Sugar
literally,
Ray have fallen.
Mark McGrath, you and your frosted tips, my friend. So,
Man,
yep,
I
that.
can't shit talk the frosted tips. I can't shit talk that. Like, some of us did that when we were younger. Some of us did that a few years ago for the Consternate reunion.
Oh no, I did not do that. So
All right. So cool. Let's roll into February of 1999. First week of February, February 9th, we got a Collective Soul release. It was the album called Dosage. Most important track off of that album was Run, which was also included in Varsity Blues. Were you a Collective Soul fan at all?
Collective Soul is fine. I never owned an album of theirs. I mean, I own the Varsity Blues soundtrack, and I
Nice.
know I'm pretty sure they were on a couple of other soundtracks at that time because, like we've talked about in the past, soundtracks in the late 90s, early 2000s were just loaded with music from all sorts
Absolutely.
of bands. And it was kind of like the easiest way to get a band noticed.
Yep.
Was throwing a song of theirs on a movie. So at that time, so
Absolutely.
the internet definitely hadn't blown up the way it has. So
Yeah. Greatest concert I ever went to, in my opinion, I think was Collective Soul. Well, I'm sorry, Soul Asylum was first, then Collective Soul, and then the Goo Goo Dolls. And it's probably my favorite because I love all three of those bands. So that was a blast. And then, bro, February 23rd of 1999 might go down as the greatest day in music release history. every one of these albums I owned. I had to have gone to Best Buy and bought them all on the same day because these are all amazing. Now, first up, okay, I can change that. Every time I see Jimmy Eat World's Clarity, I always confuse it with Bleed American. Bleed American is my favorite Jimmy Eat World album.
Yep.
Clarity's really only got like one track on it that I care about, and maybe like two because they have their first Christmas song is on that album also. But like, so maybe I didn't go buy Clarity on this day because, like I said, I didn't get into Jimmy Eat World until a little after this when Bleed American came out in like the middle and Sweetness and all those songs hit. But Jimmy World had Clarity on there. Um, TLC's fan mail came out this day. Why are you shaking your head? You're not a TLC fan?
Last good album was the Red album, Red Light
Crazy
District.
Sexy Cool.
Oh yeah, Crazy Sexy Cool.
Crazy Sexy Cool. It had Red Light Special on it. But yeah, Crazy
Thank you.
Sexy Cool.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
remember the red cover.
Yep.
So yeah, that's I don't know. Everything after
That's
that just
their best
fell off.
album. Unless you weren't a fan of No Scrubs and Unpretty and like all that stuff in '99.
Fan Mail had no scrubs. I could have
Yeah.
sworn that was I thought that was the Crazy Sexy Cool album.
No. No. Yeah, Unpretty and No Scrubs were the two big ones from fan mail.
Yeah, I never bought that album. I own Jimmy World's Clarity. I own the next one.
Hmm. The next one being Lit A Place in the Sun. This is the album that got me into them, and obviously, My Own Worst Enemy was in a lot of, not a lot, but a few '90s movies and whatnot. Uh, because of this album and becoming a huge fan of Lit, I made my first ever internet purchase in 1999 when I bought from their fan website at the time their first album, Trippin' the Light Fantastic, I think is what it's called. I think that was their first album. But I bought the first thing I ever bought via the internet was on their website and was their first album that was only available because it was like self-published and stuff like that. So you had to buy it through their website to get it. And so it was an okay album, but I always remember that being my first ever legit. Like I had my credit card at the time and bought something from the internet, not realizing that 25 years later I don't buy anything that's not on the internet anymore. So yeah. But so you did own A Place in the Sun, you a Lit fan, or at least of that album, because I can't tell you if I even listened to their any album after this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if I did either. I know but I did own A Place in the Sun. So I remember, I think I bought it over at Blockbuster Music, if I'm remembering correctly. So
Very nice. And then on this same day, last but definitely not least, definitely a super influential album in my life. Obviously, I was familiar with this dude from his first album, but the second album, the Slim Shady LP, was released by Eminem on February 23rd of 1999. And I mean, Eminem is Eminem and he is dope. Did you own this album or any Eminem album, or were you an Eminem fan at this point?
I thought he was fine. They played him so much on the radio, I didn't need to own his album.
Well, that would have been the radio edit versions, man. Are you
And
still
you know
buying your
me,
DVDs at Walmart?
no, no, no. I don't know. I felt a little disconnected from a lot of rap at that point in time for one
Okay,
reason or another. But I mean, dude, I mean, if you wanted to hear him, all you had to do was turn on a radio station.
that's
You
true.
could definitely hear any, like within 10 or 15 minutes, if you kept surfing, you would find a Eminem song for sure. So
Well, and you say you were disconnected from rap at that time, but I'm going to go back to a text you sent me over the weekend where you were listening to a greatest hits of Bone Thugs and Harmony.
okay, and you know what's interesting is you say that, but one of the things that's in for me that
Hmm.
I always would listen to them when other people listened to them.
Okay.
I don't think I bought a Bone album. I don't know if I ever bought a Bone album. Um, I don't think I never bought a Tupac album, but I listened to Tupac. Most of the time my education when it came to rap music was from listening to stuff that you were listening to, or
Sure.
if Jay Bird or Chris were on 96.3 and I was on that channel and listening to stuff. But yeah, I was never really And that's the thing is like I don't know if I've ever really hardcore ever gotten into rap. So
Okay.
I think the
Well,
most albums I ever bought from one rap artist were
uh-huh.
was Nelly.
Oh,
And
okay.
I bought a couple of Luda albums as well. So, but
Yeah,
I don't
I was definitely before you mentioned it, I was definitely going to say you probably heard a lot of Bone stuff when you were in my car back at that time period.
holy moly. Our sophomore, junior, senior years, yeah, you definitely heard plenty of Bone Thugs and Harmony from you.
Like
That
there
Mariah
was
Carey, you could not go anywhere without hearing one of them in Shane's vehicle with his
yeah,
stereo,
with what?
with your Alpine stereo.
Yeah, I did have an Alpine stereo. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it
It
was
always cracked me up because that picture I sent you uh,
uh-huh.
of the Alpine stereo that has the dolphins. I
Oh
can't.
yes.
You ever own that one?
I did not own that one. I had one that was
Okay,
similar. I'm trying to remember what brand it was.
because
I
I want
think
to say, like yours, the faceplate would like tilt downward, wouldn't it? Like
yes.
it would
Yep.
come. It would like instead of just like sliding down, it like I forget. It was just some kind of like weird because
Yeah.
it didn't have the CD slit up on the main faceplate. It would
Yep.
tilt down so that you could put the CD in. But I could
Yeah.
have sworn you had shown me pictures way back then of the one that had the dolphins, and you were
The
like, "Dude,
Dolphins.
it's so dope! I need to put this in my car. I want to put this in my car so bad. I want to get this."
It did,
Um,
but and I got one that was similar. It wasn't the dolphin one, but I did have one that had like animations on it and whatnot, but it wasn't the dolphin one. It was a
and I
different one.
and I thought you moved.
Mine was JVC. That's what it was. Mine was a JVC.
And I could and I think that the last I don't remember when the last time you put in one of those expensive radios or non-factory radios. I think what was that your I remember we were trying to
Well,
get you over to Circuit City with the red Cavalier. Um but
yeah, that might have been the last car that I had a decent like stereo in because both my Mustang. No,
oh,
no,
you had the was that a Corsair? What was that thing that not the Corsair, the
the Nissan Pulsar.
Pulsar, that's right. Yep, that's the
Yeah,
one of.
that one I may have put the stereo in, but I'm pretty sure one of my Mustang. You know what? It was the black Mustang. I had a decent stereo in. So, but yeah, none of my all my BMWs have just been factory stuff. So
Well,
yeah,
and they've gotten, I feel like they've gotten better, especially since the early 2000s, about putting in stuff that gives you a little bit more oomph
yeah.
when it's a factory installed stereo.
At least two of my BMWs have had the Harman Kardon sound system in it, which is a fairly decent sound system. The one I have now does not have that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But but yeah, so
You're
yeah,
also
man.
you're also old now, and you don't
Yeah,
blast your music as loud as you used to, and need to have the
man.
woofers in the back or anything like that.
Yeah, so let's see. When I was at Clearwater, probably when I was driving that blue Dodge Aries, was
Oh
when
boy,
I had the double subwoofers that were like 14-inch subwoofers in the back of my
your
in the front
entire
of my,
trunk.
on my entire trunk of my car. And then I remember Brandy James and I one time were leaving Clearwater, and we pulled somebody pulled up next to me and thought that they had a loud stereo and whatnot. And I said, Brandy, plug your ears, put on a Bone song, and I just cranked it up, and like my whole car was vibrating. Yeah, for a while I cared about being very loud. I mean, I'm still loud as a person, but my vehicle does not need to be that loud.
Nope, nope, definitely not.
Oh man, well, that was great. That was a great tangent there. So yeah, so every month I think I'm going to bring up what albums were released in 1999, so we can take it just trip down memory lane and see that kind of music that we were listening to back then. See if we still like any. Like, do you listen to any of these bands still? Are any of your nostalgia still? Like, we obviously you and I have been to multiple Jimmy Eat World concerts together. Lit is lit, and obviously Eminem is on my rap playlist, but Lit is still on my 90s playlist. So what about you? You listen to any of this music still?
Collector Souls Run is in my movie songs playlist.
Nice.
Uh, it was kind of funny because Britney Spears crossed my brain earlier today while I was talking to my daughter. Uh, just because I was playing a song that kind of it was like Taylor or no, it was Katy Perry. And I just was thinking about how Katy Perry is basically like the newer, like the newer Britney Spears ish.
Yeah.
I mean, well, at least she was like 10 years ago, right? I don't know if she's still playing, but I was just sitting there and I was like, man, um, I'm pretty sure she like probably is the craziest, and she's kind of like died down on her craziness.
Sure.
Katy Perry has, not Britney Spears. Britney Spears is dialed up crazy, but she doesn't really make a whole lot of music anymore that I've heard anyway.
I
Um,
agree.
it's been a long time since I've heard anything from Brittany. So I remember my friend Chris Meek, friend of the show. He oh my goodness, man. If you ever wanted somebody to talk about like you and your obsession about Mariah Carey, you could bring him on to talk about obsessions with Britney Spears. So like
Nice.
he was, yeah, there was like I recorded the Britney Spears Saturday Night Live episode, the first one she ever did, and
Okay.
like and gave it to him for his birthday because he was just, I mean, like he was a huge, huge super fan of Britney. So, but I mean, look, this came out, what her album came out in '99. I think her second album drops in 2000, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. And her and he graduated high school in 2000. So he's the
Oh, hold on. Hold on. So, Baby One More Time was her first album? 'Cause I thought she had an album that came out while we were in high school. Like that would have been in like 97 or something.
no, 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 no. Baby
No?
One More, her first.
Okay.
He hit that album first, and then Oops, I Did It Again was her second.
Okay. Why do I have memories of listening to Britney Spears in high school?
Because you're wrong. You're misremembering that, sir.
Well,
Disc
not the first time, not gonna be the last. I guess I'll get over it and move on. All
uh,
right.
I just want to make sure that I'm not wrong here. So give me just a second.
Sure.
I'm pulling stuff up. But yeah, so he was a huge, huge fan. I thought it was
That's
uh
cool. I did not know that about Chris.
yeah. I can't remember if I've told this story on here or not. Spears made her chart debut November of 1998 with Baby One More Time.
It was
Her,
still after we were out of high school. How do I?
yeah. And Oops, I
Wow.
Did It Again was May 16th of 2000.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Weird.
Uh, Brittany, right before this would have been, she was on tour with NSYNC.
Okay.
So imagine that, like the fact that you get to see Britney Spears open for NSYNC. That's kind of crazy.
That is
So
insane.
they were at the Mara. Uh,
Oh,
that
okay.
was where they performed, and that was 98, 99, somewhere in that range. And the NSYNC, this was the tour where they came out on motorcycles right at the very
Okay.
beginning of concert. But obviously her and Justin grew up together because of the Disney Mickey Mouse Club, and so she knew that crew pretty well. I don't technically think that they were like officially dating as far as everybody knew anyway. But so my favorite is our friend Tony. He was a security guard for a
Okay.
company who supplied all the security guards for the Murrah and for Deer Creek and all these other venues like Market Square but a private company provided all that security. And Tony's backstage, and it's during sound check, and Britney Spears walks up and she introduces herself to Tony, and
Oh, wow.
and she's like, "Hi, I'm Britney Spears," and he's like, "Oh, hi," and like didn't act like that was the only thing like he ever said to her. And then it's like, and then she literally blew up within like weeks of this happening. Like all of a sudden she's the, number one stunner with the Baby One More Time. um so it was just kind of funny that Tony's like, yep, I literally dismissed Britney Spears at one point in
That's
time.
crazy. I
Yep.
see, and the website that I use to look up bands and their tours and whatnot only goes back to 1997. For Destiny's Child, I saw in 1996 when I went to a Christian convention in the downtown Indianapolis Convention Center. Yeah, this is when they had four members before they kicked one of them out. Like
Oh,
they started off as like a religious church group and whatnot, and they played. I was hoping to find the exact day on the website that I use for finding out concert events and whatnot, but it only goes back to '97. But yeah, this would have been the summer of '96, and I will need to try to find somewhere to confirm that. But I remember seeing Destiny's Child back then because then once they got big and huge, I was like Destiny's Child. I remember that name. Like I saw them at like a church convention thing and found out it was the same group. It was weird. So yeah,
that's kind of
90s
cool.
music is awesome. All right, man, let's move on. Let's move on and talk about our Mount Rushmore. And since we're planning on doing 2 episodes in February, you and I are going to spend a Valentine's Day together and do a Valentine's Day romantic episode where we literally just stare into each other's eyes for about an hour. Yep, just like that, just like what we did right there. Yep, that's going to be the whole episode. It's going to be really, really sweet and emotional. But on that episode, we'll do a Mount Rushmore of our four favorite romantic movies. So tonight, I want to know, bro, what are your four favorite fictional couples? Movies, TV, fake people. I guess it could be from a book if you want to pull a book, but four your Mount Rushmore of fictional couples. I want to know what they are.
I am going to go full nerd here. So, full nerd, since that's the kind of style we roll with here.
I'm
Uh,
excited.
Number one, well, in no particular order. Number one is going to be a movie that we just recently watched together again on the big screen. I am going to say Captain Malcolm Reynolds and Anara, uh,
Ooh,
wonderful
ooh, okay.
that I really enjoy.
Damn, yeah, that's a good one.
Followed up by Captain America and Agent Carter,
Ooh,
just
that's a good
because
one.
I just love that relationship that they have with one another. So, my next one will be John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale in one of my favorite movies of all time, Serendipity. And then
Kind of
this
expected that one, so very happy to see that one on there.
this one will come as no surprise to anybody. What are we so excited about going down to Disney? We're excited about our Sunday day at Hollywood Studios, which means we are going to spend a lot of time in the Star Wars area, and Han Solo and Princess Leia by far is a top um couple in the on my uh my my Mount Rushmore of couples, fake couples. So that's where
That is dope, man. I support all of that list. They're all good, and we didn't cross over any this time, which I think is good. But at the same time, all four of yours could be on my list as well. Like those are some great couples there, man.
all right. So Shane, give me your Mount Rushmore of
All
fictional
right.
couples.
And much like you, none of the four that I'm going to say are going to come as a surprise. We've talked about all of these movies on here before. So I'm going to start with my fourth one. My fourth one is, well, here, let me give you the names and see if there's our Bella cameo.
Can
There
you
she is.
stop? Go away.
Beautiful doggy, Bella. All right. I'm gonna give you the names because I don't know. I don't know if the names will uh will be as familiar to you. Like you'll know the movie, obviously, but if I were to say Monica and Quincy from a sports movie,
Oh, uh, I got nothing.
oh, that would be Love and Basketball, Omar Epps and Sanaa
Oh,
Lathan.
oh yes.
I Yep, I absolutely love. I mean, I love the concept of different time periods in their life are just not right for them to be a couple, and or well, I mean, they try to be a couple and it doesn't work, and then how their friendship relationship goes from that. So I absolutely love them as a couple. If I were to say Patrick and Kat,
Oh, I mean, 10 things I hate about you.
there you go. Yep, I absolutely love their dynamic as well. The antagonistic flirting, I think, is always fun in relationships. Um, this one is the most. The next two are the most obvious for me. Obviously, that would be Monica and Chandler from Friends. I think they have the absolute greatest friendship relationship that's ever been captured and put into a TV show or anything else. It's absolutely amazing. But then the last one, the one that I've spent the majority of my life feeling like I'm living, would be Beauty and the Beast, Belle and the Beast, Belle and the Prince, however you want to look at it. Because I really enjoy their storyline and how I feel like I am too ugly for pretty girls that I've gotten in my life. So, so yeah.
Hey,
So
Eeyore,
yeah,
we
I'm not
wait.
gonna be, I'm not gonna be with it. I'm just being factual. Like I know I have definitely hit some women that are should be out of my league in my life, and yeah, I feel very beastish compared to them. So yeah, no, we all good. But yeah, so that's my list. Yeah. Well, we've not really hit the halfway point. We don't call it Troy's halftime talk anymore. We just call it Troy Talks. This time, I'm going to be talking to Troy about some art that I found out that he does that I had no idea he was a part of. So when I found that out last month, I said, "Bro, we have to talk about that on the next podcast." So I'm going to send it over to Shane and Troy, and they're going to talk about Penguin of the Day. Thank you, Shane. I appreciate you throwing it over to me. And I am here with Troy Myers for today's episode of Troy Talks. On today's episode of Troy Talks, I'm joined by the creator of Penguin of the Day on Instagram. I last month after we chatted, I found out that you have been doing a thing on Instagram called Penguin of the Day, and I love promoting my friends and I love promoting artistic shit that they do. And so when I found that out, I told you that's what we had to talk about next. Because bro, Penguin of the Day is awesome. And so yeah, first off, I picked out some ones I think are movie specific that I want to ask you about. But before we get into that, tell me about the genesis of this. Like, where did Penguin of the Day come from?
Um, Basically just doodling. I mean, like, like if you look at any of my notebooks from like high school or college or anything like that, like in ways like pictures and little things or scenes or idea about like as a way to kind of like decorate my cubicle in a way. Um, I draw a penguin every day doing something. Um, Living an active life. He's joined by a friend who's a carrot. Um, there's occasionally a dog, Ernie. Shout him out. It's my guy.
What's the carrot's name?
And yeah, basically, I don't know what's the penguin's name.
Oh, okay. All right,
Just
cool.
penguin and carrot.
So why'd the dog get a name? Why is the dog Ernie?
Because the dog is actually after a dog that
Oh,
exists in
okay.
real life.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, you don't have a friend carrot that you talk to in real life?
No, no, no. I eat carrots in real life. I just uh, penguins and carrots are amazingly easy to draw. One of my rules is like this has to be over and done with in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Like I can't dilly dally. Like I'm not trying to make a masterpiece. I'm just trying to convey an idea and
Uh-huh.
use the utensils that I have at my disposal. Which, if you look at the penguin of the day, it's always basically the same four colors of highlighter,
Sure.
and then I have like a brown, like a dry erase marker that I use for like dirt and trees. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. Well, and so like I said, when we were chatting and I started looking into it, bro, I loved them. They made me laugh. They made me smile. So over the last month, I went through all of them that you've done, and I picked out some that I consider to probably be movie related. Some of them obviously movie related. Some of them I might have looked into a little too much. So I want to know. I want to know like the story behind some of these. Did you have a movie in mind when you did it, or is that just what happened to come to you that day? And like the first one I want to talk about is the one that says wax on, wax off, which obviously is a Karate Kid because he's doing the Karate Kid pose with the Karate Kid headband.
Yeah, that one was like one of the like second or third one. It was I'm gonna do a thing. Um and it was honestly just kind of like I originally was trying to just think of things that I could actually draw, and drawing a penguin in like crane kick mode is easy way to convey a message. Basically the only thing I had to do was get the headband right,
Yep.
and essentially everybody would know what the fuck I was doing. And so yeah, wax on,
Nice.
wax off. It's a good philosophical lesson for life.
Yeah. So my next one, I might be stretching it a little bit. The next one I want to talk about is The Abyss. Yeah, you have.
That actually had nothing to do with the movie The Abyss.
I assumed that.
It's just a penguin looking down into a hole that is endless. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, it's just like, all
Next
right,
up
man.
would be, I don't know how to pronounce this. Penguinheim?
Oh, Penguinheimer.
Oh, Penguinheim?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, like I don't know if you knew this, but like there was this thing this summer, like this really hot shit called Barbenheimer that happened.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
oh,
Um,
okay.
and so yeah, like I just kind of wanted to ride that hashtag wave
I like it.
and maybe get some eyes on my penguins. And so I thought a
So,
really cool way to do that would be drawing a mushroom cloud.
yeah.
Like,
So the other half of that movie that you just talked about probably slides right into Penguin.
Penguin, yeah, man.
Mhm.
I'm just Ken, it's
I
a sad
am
state of affairs, but
I am Knuff. I Kinergy.
have you seen the Barbie movie
I haven't.
yet? Oh
No.
man, see all these jokes would make sense to you if you saw them. You would
Yeah.
recognize what an artfully done and detailed penguin that is.
What does it say on his surfboard? Is that Russian? No, it says beach.
It says beach.
Beach. Okay. And his
That's
fanny
his
pack
job.
says pen.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's a beautiful one. I'm sure when I see Barbie, that'll make more sense to me. Next one up,
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights. Did that have anything to do with the movie, the TV show, or were you just literally thinking about football?
No, literally like well, that did coincide with like I believe the first night of high school football.
Okay.
Um, but it more just had to do with the fact that like I don't know, like once every couple of years, like I'll just watch some Friday Night Lights. I love that show.
Nice.
You know, fucking Tim Riggins, love that guy. Matt Saracen is my quarterback. Uh, yeah, no,
Cool.
yeah, no, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Awesome. Next one up was Phantom of the Opera. Anything to do with the movie, or
No, it more just to do with like the Phantom of the Opera. Like it was
okay.
something that I like. I've always been kind of like intrigued by like just like the half white mask or whatever. Like
Cool.
I've always thought that was really cool. Like just bit of imagery. Sometimes I will just wake up in the morning and be singing like the music of the night, and
Oh,
that must have been one of those days. I was just like,
nice.
oh, let's do the Phantom today.
Right on. Next up, I think it's pretty clear and obvious. Singing in the Rain.
Yeah, that coincided with them playing Singing at the Rain at the Art Craft.
Cool.
Um,
Did you go watch it?
hell yeah, I did.
Nice.
That
Right
is
on.
it's funny, like I have you have like your letterbox or whatever, you've got your four favorites or whatever. Like
Yep.
Singing in the Rain has never made my four favorites. Like any time that I've ever I don't go through and change it often, but if I do, like it's weird. Singing in the Rain has never made my four favorite movies, but every time I'm actually like watching the movie, like in the actual act of like, like I'm sitting there and Moses Supposes is happening in front of me. Every time I watch that movie, I'm convinced I'm like, this is the best movie that's ever been made. Like it is absolutely like in the moment, like just pure magic. Like it's incredible. Like it's incredible watch. I think everybody should just start with that, just
Cool.
as their first movie.
So your next up is The King. Obviously, he says Elvis on his jumpsuit. Had you just watched Priscilla when this came out, or when you decided to do this one?
No, that one I
Okay.
did a couple months before Priscilla came out. I think
Oh,
I
okay.
I think I did that one right after I'd seen like the first trailer for Priscilla,
Okay.
the like teaser trailer that has like the Spaceman 3 song on there, and I was just like,
Um,
what the fuck? I was just like, God, I love Sophia Coppola. If you need to know how much I love Sophia Coppola, it's right in there.
oh, look at that.
Don't know
Pretty
if you
cool.
can see that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's the Sophia Coppola archive that hangs over my bed.
Nice.
Uh,
It's pretty dope.
love that lady, love her movies. Uh,
Very nice.
will do anything to help promote.
And next up, I know you talked about this movie. I know Bottoms is a direct reference to watching Bottoms.
Oh yeah. Well, Bottoms had the Instagram feed for Bottoms had a really cool thing going where like they were like big on displaying fan art,
Oh, okay.
because like like I have you seen Bottoms yet?
I haven't watched it
Um
yet. I know
like
I'm a huge
Bottoms
disappointment.
appeals. No, you're fine. Like it's not your demographic. Like Bottoms appeals to Gen Zers and like arty kids and like and like so like people were making like this really incredible fan art and like
Oh,
it's just like if you hashtagged it with bottoms or whatever like and so like they put me on their little story on the Instagram. They liked it,
that's cool.
the movie, and I was just
Nice.
like I felt good about it. I got to
Yeah.
draw Marshawn Lynch and Penguin for him. Like that's my guy.
Oh, so that's Marshawn Lynch, huh? Oh,
Yeah, beast mode, man.
that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that's who that was. It's pretty dope.
Yeah,
So this
he
next
just
one might be
looks like
another
a penguin.
stretch. Next one might be another stretch. Your one that says trick or treat. Would that have anything to do with the movie Trick or Treat?
No,
No.
that had
Okay.
everything to do with the fact that it was Halloween time.
Halloween. Okay. Yeah, I thought that might be a little bit of a stretch. So obviously, Wizard is a Harry Potter reference. What's the genesis behind that one?
Just my daughter Maple likes
Okay,
Harry Potter a lot, so occasionally I draw these things for her. So
nice. That's awesome. Next up is the Lion King. Obviously, the Lion King. You have Carrot holding up
yeah,
Penguin. That's pretty cute.
it's a carrot holding up a baby penguin. It's like life. It's beautiful.
Next one, not necessarily movie related, but it's probably my favorite one out of all of them that you've ever done. I mean, it's movie related, but it's not directly related to a movie, and that's Lights, Camera, Action. I think of all of
Oh
them
yeah,
that you've done, that's my absolute favorite one. You got Penguin behind a film camera with a beret on, holding an old timey, director's tube. I love that one,
yeah.
man. I think that's great.
That is a combination of like two pictures that I can remember in my mind from like film books.
Okay.
The big old timey thing was a picture of John Ford, like
Okay.
in Monument Valley, like just kind of shooting the shit with like John Wayne or something like that.
Oh,
And
cool.
so, and then the like beret and the guy looking in the camera, that is a picture of like based on a picture of Jean-Luc Godard from like
Oh, okay.
shooting. I want to say like Contempt, but it's in
Okay.
like the Andrew Sarris book that
Nice.
about Jean-Luc Godard. So
Very
it was
cool.
just
Well, I'm just saying, out of all of them you've done, I absolutely love that one. I think it's a great picture. Next up, we got Canned Heat, where Penguin is wearing a Vote for Pedro shirt.
oh yeah, vote for Pedro. Yeah, that was actually I did that one on election day.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know this or if I've ever told you this or whatever, but like every time I go to vote, I wear the Vote for Pedro shirt that I got when I worked at Castles and Arts.
Nice.
And
That's
so yeah,
awesome. I like that. Tarzan, obviously Tarzan. Obviously Tarzan.
yeah. I don't really think of like Tarzan as a movie, as more of just kind of like a cultural artifact. Like you know what I mean? Like I wasn't thinking of like the animated version of Tarzan. I was just kind
I
of
mean, your Tarzan
shooting
looks
it.
pretty damn close to like one of the posters for Tarzan. I mean, I guess every poster for Tarzan is him swinging through some trees, so I guess that's not really a
I
very
mean,
good
there's not
comparison.
he doesn't really do a lot like that guy.
So
His
we
game
got
is
ping
not that
pong.
great.
We got ping pong,
Yeah, that is
which is
obviously a direct reference to King Kong.
yep, he's on top of the Empire State Building swinging at some airplanes. Um,
Yeah,
any
buddy.
chance, any chance that Jetpack is related to the Rocketeer?
No,
Okay.
it's more the Scottish band We Were Promised Jetpacks. I'm a
Okay.
huge fan of them, and I honestly just really like jetpacks as an imagery. Like, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's
Like,
really cool in the
and
Rocketeer.
they're pretty easy to draw.
Nice. This one, I don't necessarily. It's not necessarily a movie related, but I love all the movie references that are obviously in it. That's Art House of Horror. where I'm kind of getting like the
Yeah.
spider from it. It's got Jason Voorhees mask on. Is that actually a bat doing the Batman logo in the moon?
Yeah, there's just the Batman logo in the moon. There's like like bats. I was just kind of being, I just kind of threw a lot of things to the wall. The Art House of Horror was a series at the Can. They did last year. I'm not sure if they're going to do it this year. By a really cool guy named Nathan Ertl. You can find him on Instagram as the bastard son of Ed Wood. Um, he's just a really cool guy. He's really insightful. He he showed a season's a catalog's worth of like horror movies that like I would not have seen otherwise. And I am not like a huge horror movie guy. Or historically I never have been.
Yeah.
I have been kind of like trying to get into it, I guess. Not necessarily trying, but it's just kind of, I feel like over time, there's so many horror movies that are made.
Sure.
And so I've just kind of been going the track of just kind of letting people that I trust guide me through that process in a way.
Nice.
And he is definitely one of those guys. And so like I just did that kind of as an homage to some of the movies I've seen through his series, and just kind of, just kind of giving back.
Very nice. Very cool. Next to a very broad, but you did a Hallmark Christmas movies one where Penguin is decorating a tree and is surrounded by lights.
Yeah, wrapped up in lights. Yeah, every year I get hornswoggled into watching at least one Hallmark Christmas movie with Jamie. I fucking hate them. I'm not gonna lie, they're all the same. Uh, they're all trash.
I
They're
love them
all
all, so I was so happy to see this reference.
yeah, you're fine. And yeah. So um,
Word.
yeah, Hallmark Christmas movies.
Next two,
Word.
not movie related, but I absolutely love them. So I wanted to shout out to the Go Pacers and the Blue Penguin. Blue Penguin celebrating the Colts. I absolutely love both of those. They're really cool and well done.
Oh fuck yeah,
Yep, those are both fun.
gotta show you love, man.
Yep. Keep dancing. Obviously, is made to look like Saturday Night Fever's poster.
Actually, that happened not intentionally.
Oh, okay.
I've actually never seen the movie Saturday Night Fever, even though, which is shocking because like I fucking love the Bee Gees. Like I mean like I love the fucking Bee Gees. But I've never seen Saturday Night Fever. I'm not a huge Travolta guy. I just kind of drew it because I was interested. It was like one dance move that like you could actually draw with minimal artistic talent is the hustle. And so that got done.
Nice. Dude, the next one is perfect. The next one is epic. The next one is one of my favorites. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. And
Yeah.
you have the snowman and narwhal there. Like, dude, that one's really good.
Yeah, Leon the Snowman is like by far my favorite character in that movie.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, the narwhal is just like honestly like they could have just ended the movie there, and I would have been like, oh, this is a great movie, like perfect.
Yeah, dude, that one's absolutely dope. Next up, we got one called Wonderland, where you got penguins sitting on top of a giant mushroom. Obviously, an Alice in Wonderland reference, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right on. Very nicely done. Your Lady and the Tramp is hilarious.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
That one was one of those that like I got about, I don't know, like halfway into it, and I crossed that point of no return where I was just like, shit, I am not like artistically talented enough to actually pull this off. you know, but the concept was already down on paper, and I was just powered through.
it looks good,
Yeah,
man. I like it. Any chance Twisterella has anything to do with the movie Twister?
not a lot. There's
Okay.
some that I'm just like, no, Twisterella is actually a song by the English band Ride,
Okay.
from like 1991. Nobody should know that, outside of your boy.
Not heard of
And
it.
shout out my cousin John Harmon. Yeah, fantastic song. I really like Ride a lot. Like I like that shoegazy sound. and it was just
I
kind of
also
something.
thought that maybe for a second it could have been like a Wizard of Oz reference because it's got like the tree and the house upside down. So I thought maybe it was a Wizard of Oz reference, but not even that.
No, I think it was just like a windy day the day before, and like it just kind of carried over with me, like thought process wise.
Gotcha.
And yeah,
And
no,
last
I
but
wasn't
definitely
like,
not least, last but definitely not least is today's. And I just checked it about an hour or two ago and saw that today's was Golden Ticket, obviously a Willy Wonka reference. But is it a Willy Wonka reference or is it like the new Wonka movie reference?
it's a reference to both of those. Like what we are not referencing is the awful and vile Johnny Depp versions.
Good. Well, thank
The
God.
the Gene Wilder is the only Wonka
Correct.
canonically.
I agree.
Um, However, the new one I actually kind of liked.
Really?
I think Timothy Chalamet played a fine young Gene Wilder.
Okay.
Yeah, thought it was all right.
Very good to hear.
It was a lot more wholesome than I thought it was going to be. There was none of the like Tim Burton-y things that like kind of like mussed up the last go around with Wonka.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just nice. It was nice. I liked it. Maple liked it. We had a good day at the
Good.
movies.
All right. Well, bro, like I said, I love pimping out my friends when I find out they do cool artistic shit, and I love Penguin of the Day. Tell everybody the exact Penguin of the Day Instagram because I don't remember it.
Uh,
POTD the
it's
Penguin.
POTD underscore Penguin of the Day.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
it's a blast.
itself
It brings
that
a smile to my face every day, man.
itself is a ripoff of the MOTD or Match of the Day program in England, the soccer program.
Oh, okay,
Um, that's where the POTD came from.
okay, that makes
But
sense.
yeah,
Awesome.
everything about it is a ripoff because I'm
Uh,
not a good artist.
Before we throw it back to Shane and Jason, I just wanted to ask you, our Mount Rushmore this month was our four favorite fictional couples. Do you have four favorite fictional couples you want to throw out?
Let me think. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Tom Townsend and Audrey Roget from the movie Metropolitan, and they also make a cameo in The Last Days of Disco. With
Okay.
Stillman as a god. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I can't really. I can't come up with anything right off the top of my head.
Okay.
Um,
No worries.
which is sad because I know that if I would have actually sat down to think about this, I would have come
Okay.
up with a really good list. Maybe
Because
next month.
feel like rom-coms are kind of that little like in the back of your head, you know a lot of them really.
I I would probably say like a romantic comedy or rom com is probably like my favorite genre of movie.
Sure. Yeah,
Um, but at the same time, like sometimes those things can be so generic in a
sure.
way that like I don't really think of like I don't think of like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in terms of like chemistry, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I
Sure.
think of them as terms of like nice people put into nice situations where like nice romance happens.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like nah, like trying to think.
I
Yeah,
mean, I'll be
I got
completely
nothing.
honest. Probably whatever you were to come up with, because I've never seen Metropolitan, so I don't know that couple. Probably any other couple that you came up with. What about Lars and the Real Girl? I remember you talking about that movie all the time.
It's not Lars and the Real Girl. Lars and the Real Girl is a movie with Ryan Gosling where he falls in love with a blow up doll. He has some
Oh yeah,
sort of like
no, not that movie. What the fuck?
Asperger's syndrome or something like that.
It's
What you
The
are
Paul
referring
Schreiber.
to, yeah, that's a movie called All the Real Girls with Paul Schneider and Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah. I knew Real
And
Girls was in there. Yeah, yeah.
while they do have wonderful chemistry to start the film, if you watch the movie, you will recognize that they did not make a good couple in the end.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense then. All right. So any last things to say before we throw it back to Shane and Jason?
Disappointing things. I know you guys are talking about that this month.
Yeah, we good. Coming up. Yeah.
Uh,
What's
Very disappointed that Zac Efron did not get a Best Actor nomination from the Oscars. I was very disappointed that Saltburn got no love anywhere because that movie is great, and I highly recommend everybody go watch it. It has the best soundtrack of any movie last year. And then The Zone of Interest. What a piece of shit.
Oh, okay.
And anybody who tells me otherwise is largely just a pretentious clown in my eyes, and I don't really want to talk to you.
Well,
If
I
you
will.
make a movie,
Mhm.
if you make a movie and you have to go on like a question and answer tour to explain to people your movie sucks. Because the idea of a movie is that you don't have to tell me about it.
True.
It should be
Very true.
there. And so, yeah, The Zone of Interest can kiss my ass. Don't waste your time.
I will have to look into
Other
that
than
and
that,
see what it's all about.
all other 9 of the Best Picture nominees. Oh yeah, except for Maestro. Those 2. The other 8. Go watch
Uh-huh.
them. They're great. They're all
Nice.
pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I miss the days when I actually cared enough to watch everything that was nominated for Best Picture. Like, I just don't care anymore.
This was the first year I actually have seen all 10 of them. Like,
That's awesome.
I saw The Zone of Interest on a preview last Monday. And then
Ah,
when the nominations came out on Tuesday, I was like, oh, holy shit. I've actually seen all 10 of these movies. I saw all 10 of these movies, and I saw all 10 of them at the Can.
oh, that's pretty dope. Pretty cool.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Membership pays off, man.
Very
Shout
cool.
out to the fine folks at the Can. Get your membership going.
Nice. Awesome. All right, brother. I appreciate your time every month, like always. Thank you for taking time to talk to me. And yeah, let's send it back to Shane and Jason. And that was a lot of fun. I fucking love talking to Troy. Always enjoy chatting with him, especially I find out that he does art that I didn't even know he does. So great talking with him. Very excited about getting to put that out there for the world to find out more about One of the Day on Instagram. Go check it out. It's awesome. It makes my day happy every time I look at it. Well, so now we're gonna combine the poll that you put online. We're gonna combine our Shane expectations for movies and stuff recently. So I asked you to put up a poll online about things that did not live up to people's expectations. What kind of answers did we get to this question?
Pulling that up again because it reset. We only had 3 responses to
Okay,
this one.
well, all right.
Oh, but all 3 seem to be quite valid.
Okay.
So it'll be fun. The first one from Ryan Smith
Woo,
it
shout out Ryan Smith.
is the Eternals from the MCU. So,
I'll definitely say that I've got a Marvel movie on my list for us to talk about because I feel like it was one that I was actually excited for. Probably the last Marvel thing I was excited for because I pretty much feel like everything is kind of excited for the Eternals. I mean, it definitely was a major letdown, even with my low expectations that I had for it. But yeah, like that is valid in my opinion. I know you didn't care for the Eternals either, did you?
nope.
Okay.
I accidentally purchased that movie.
You accident was it in 3D?
No, well, there is a 3D version, but I've refused to buy 3D copies from Japan that cost $40 or $50 each.
Okay,
That's not in my repertoire. I'm not spending
makes
that kind
sense.
of money. No, so this was a Disney movie club, and I thought I declined it, and I didn't. And then all of a sudden it showed up in my mailbox, and I was like,
Hmm.
by the time I actually return this, and then all right, I'll just keep it. It's
For how long have you been a part of Disney Movie Club? Like I did it a long time ago, but obviously I canceled it a long time ago.
10 years.
How long you been doing? Like, so you literally get basically a disc a month from them still?
Oh no, no. So they just
No.
send you
Okay.
they send
They
you an
send you
email.
a ah,
They send you an email and then just ask you to decline it if you don't want it.
ah.
I think out of all the ones that they've ever offered me, I might have bought like since when I first joined, I joined because I had gotten a 3D TV and they had a ton of 3D Blu-rays, so it was one of those things where like if you bought one at full price, you could get all these other ones at like 50 or 60% off. So
Wow.
like somehow I convinced my wife, because she's awesome, that it was okay to do so. And I bought like one at full price, and then I mean, like I bought something like 10 to 12 3D Blu-rays at
Wow.
that point in time. So like I ended up, once I satisfied my requirement with them, I think I might have bought 3 or 4 in this
Okay.
entire like 10-year time frame, because I
Oh, okay.
satisfied that. I satisfied the first, like you had to buy like 6 or 8 or something like that. I satisfied that within like the first year and a half.
Yeah.
And like ever since then, I think it might be 3 that I've purchased. Um,
In all of those years.
yeah, where they send it to you. So
Yeah.
I've bought other ones from them, and there's a
Yeah.
bunch of titles that you can only get through the Disney Movie Club.
Oh,
Specifically on Blu-ray, like a Goofy movie, Three Musketeers. There's a bunch of stuff that like you can only purchase through them with for the Blu-rays. And I found some older stuff that that I wanted through them, but for the most part, and yeah, the Eternals was an accidental purchase, and
oh, oops.
it's probably one of those 3 or 4 that I actually purchased
Gotcha.
for their monthly emails. So
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, I wasn't like super excited by that point for Marvel stuff when it came out, but I was excited because, so like, same feeling when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. I wasn't super excited for it because like I didn't really know those characters very well. And I was obviously very surprised with how much I loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Kind of was hoping that's what was going to happen with the Eternals. I was kind of hoping that it was going to be another one of those. I don't know these characters. Maybe I'll really like it. And that is not what happened with it. And I was very disappointed.
yeah, and
Well,
they've
I mean, I
put
like Icarus as a character, but then I didn't like what they did with him in the movie. So that was very disappointing.
well, and they've shown you some characters and some events that happen in that movie that they've never referenced since then, and it makes no sense to me
Sure.
how,
Well,
like,
and I think,
especially the giant thing in the ocean, like how is that not a topic of conversation in
sure.
any other movie, even in the background or something, like, but whatever, it is what it is. So
And I completely lost track with what I wanted to say about that movie. Oh, and what I was going to say is it, like the post-credit scene of that has set up something that may or may not ever pay off to be something cool in the MCU, but it's like I don't want to get a setup for 5 years down the road. Like in Marvel Phase One, the end credit scene was always something that led right into the next movie. It got me hyped for the next movie. So like when you tease something to me and then I literally 2 years later still don't have a payoff for it, like I don't know if it's ever going to have a payoff. Like that's getting really frustrating with a lot of the post credit scenes that they're doing these days, or just having something random and stupid to be in there to be humorous or funny. Like they did so well in the beginning, giving me a scene that set me up for what was coming next. What's the next thing that I'm gonna get to experience? And then like the fact that they've gone away from that just sucks now. It's really
but
disappointing.
I mean, and look what they gave us at the very end of Love and Thunder, right? Like
Oh yeah.
our favorite actors,
Yep.
and we get that, and it's already been 2 years this summer.
Never
Yeah,
seen them
and
again.
there's
Yep.
yeah, we've never seen him again. We don't know what's coming down the pike for that. It just seems kind of like it's a waste, right? Because it
Yep.
just ends up being the same thing with Venom at the end of Far From Home,
Yep.
or No Way Home.
Yep.
No Way
Or
Home.
No Way Home. Yep.
It's just like, dude, I'm like you said, lead into the next movie, please, just so that we feel like at least one of the 2 end credit sequences should be leading into your next. So,
Yep.
but they've gotten away from certain things, and we could talk about that for hours. So,
Mhm.
next up,
Next up.
we have Justin Browning, who
Okay. What's up,
chimed in
Justin?
The Many Saints of Newark, which was
Okay.
the prequel to The
That's the
Sopranos,
friend.
starring, oh my
James
goodness,
Gandolfini's son.
James Gandolfini's son. I couldn't remember James's name right off the top of my head. Thank you.
Yep.
And from what I've heard, a lot of people feel this way about this movie. I never finished The Sopranos. I started watching it. I think I've started watching it twice at least, and I just never really got into it. I know a lot of people love that show, and for numerous reasons, but just couldn't get
My
into it.
my my reason was Drea De Matteo, and once they killed her character off, I stopped watching The Sopranos. I did not care for the show that much, and literally, she was the only reason that I watched it for like the first season and a half, or she might have made it 2 whole seasons. But yeah, once they killed her character off, I was like, I have no reason to watch this show anymore. So
That's the
yeah, I
way
never watched the
I should have
movie.
stopped with Sons of Anarchy too.
Ooh,
Like,
that's tough to say, man.
dude, once mom does what she does, like
Oh, sure.
the rest of that show is just kind of like such a downer.
Oh, but so you're literally only saying that the last season's a downer, like, because
Yeah, yeah,
what Mom
yeah,
does
yeah.
is the season 6 finale
What?
when Gemma kills a certain character. That's the season 6 finale.
Is that the finale of season 6? Okay.
There's
Um,
only one more season after that.
and the whole last season is pretty darn dark.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they
and see,
were
I
like,
didn't care for season 3 when they were in Ireland. I think that's the worst season of all of them.
I understand why you think that for sure. So it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
There were certain aspects of that show that were really, really awesome. And but we won't dwell on that either. So the last one comes from Big Mike
Oh,
Owens,
Big Mike.
and he just says the entire DCEU. So
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, uh
Um,
can't argue with that.
nope. I have a DCEU film on my list also, so I
Man
can
of
definitely
Steel is
concur.
still my favorite out of all of them.
Okay.
I think Batman versus Superman and Wonder Woman are probably the only other ones that I find really. And I'll give you the first Shazam too.
Yeah,
Those
I
three,
love the first Shazam.
those four movies out of everything that they made were the best of what they offered. And Man of Steel for me is definitely my favorite out of all of those. Everything else just blah.
Yep.
And Wonder Woman is like 2/3 good, and then that
Yeah.
last third is just blah.
Yep.
Um, so, but yeah, that I will totally agree with Big Mike on that one. So,
I I agree. And like I didn't hate the Flash movie recently, but like I mean it couldn't save like both of the Aquamans I hated. Like I really hated the second Aquaman. Like I'm trying to think of what else was even in the DCU.
Blue Beetle
Yeah.
was blah.
Yeah, that was very blah. Like
You had Wonder Woman 2 or 1984.
which was
Uh,
terrible beyond terrible.
yeah, and then you had Justice League.
Which we actually just recently talked about how phenomenal the Snyder cut is of that.
Yeah, it's just so long, man.
Is I'll probably never watch it again, but I actually really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it was just all right. So, but but yeah, so
All right,
and
well,
my
thank you to
example, of
the three of you
course.
guys.
My
Yep.
example, of course, was Fast and Furious, which was the part 6 of the Fast saga, because I feel like that's where it started going way, way outside the realm of believability more so than any other ones. Like they were making fun of themselves for being so ridiculous, is what I felt like happened in that movie. So I know you and I will always love
We will
to
always
agree.
disagree on that.
So, but yeah, that was
But
what
as
I.
Paul Abdul said, opposites attract.
So
All
yeah.
right, man. So we have 2 ways we can take this, our discussion. We got 2 ways we can take it. We can talk about stuff that we did like that exceeded our expectations, and we can end on a down note of the shit that sucked. Or we can start with the stuff that sucked, and we can end on a high note talking about stuff that surpassed our expectations. Which way do you want to roll?
Disappointments compared to our expectations.
Okay, let's start with disappointments. So for this, I just went back to 2020. We started the podcast in 2020, so that was kind of just like my starting point. So I went back and I looked through movies from the last 4 years, well, 3 years, I guess technically, to see. I guess it would still be 4 years. Sorry, for the last 4 years to see what didn't live up to my expectations. The first one, I was excited for a movie called The Rental. It was directed by James Franco or Dave Franco, one of the Francos. James Franco was in it. No, sorry, Dave Franco was in it. and I think that he directed it. But four friends go to an Airbnb in the middle of the woods, and somebody is fucking with them all night. And I thought it was going to be super cool and like edge of the seat kind of stuff, and it just wasn't. It was terrible. It was dumb. Terrible premise. But yeah, not fun at all. Do we want to go back and forth with movies, or do you want me to keep going on my list? What are you in the mood for?
You go, you take a couple. Go for it.
I'll take my next one would be. Do you remember a movie called Antebellum?
I did not see it, but I
Okay,
remember I remember like the trailer came out, then they pulled the trailer, then they put it back out again, and I can't remember if this was during COVID,
it
maybe.
was. It
Okay.
was. Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
I, I ended up watching it when it was like released on Max or something. I don't think it had a very long like theater life, but the preview was weird and bizarre to me, and I think Jordan Peele produced it, so it kind of had that Twilight Zone vibe to me from the preview. I like his other movies, well, his first two directorial movies. I liked the Twilight Zone that he did up until the last episode, but then like I had high expectations that this was going to be something cool and interesting. And once you find out what the twist is, I was just like, well, this is not that it's a bad twist. It's just not as exciting as I was hoping for. So I was let down with Antebellum, another one that has let me down a lot. And I don't know why I got excited for this, but M. Night Shyamalan's Old, the preview looked really good to me. I really thought it was going to be some creepy stuff going on. And then, I mean, it has a Shyamalan twist at the end of it, but it's a pretty dumb one in my. It's like Lady in the Water dumb in my opinion. So yes, that was another one that let me down. Do you remember the Hugh Jackman movie Reminiscence?
Yeah. I
HBO
watched that
Max.
one after I watched that the week after I left the theater
Oh, okay.
on your last week at the theater.
You watched it in the theater? Did we watch
Yeah,
it together?
no. So I came
Okay.
on like the next Saturday night after I had quit the theater.
Gotcha. Okay. Because yeah,
And,
I had. It was yeah, it was not enjoyable. I like Hugh Jackman and I think it's Rebecca Ferguson that's in it.
yeah.
Yeah, like had a cast that I liked. It had a sci-fi weird matrixy type concept to it, and I was really pumped and excited for it, and it was just miserable, like just dumb. I was very disappointed with it. My Marvel movie that's on here, probably the last Marvel movie I was excited about. I actually watched this the last time I was in Disney, was Black Widow. I thought Black Widow was going to be really good. I thought we were going to get a really good action movie, and I did not enjoy the story that we got at all for Black Widow. I thought it was pretty terrible. So
Yeah.
pretty, I can't think of one since Black Widow that I was actually excited about. I think that was the point where I just finally lowered my expectations for Marvel stuff and was just like, they're gonna just be Marvel crap from now on and blah. So I haven't been disappointed with any Marvel movies since then, even though some of them have not been good. But yeah, got kind of what I want. That's about half my list. So why don't we throw in some of yours?
Halloween Kills.
Bro,
Oh
that is the. Oh, well, no, sorry. I have Halloween Ends on my list. Halloween Kills is blah, but
no.
Halloween Ends was.
I haven't even I haven't even watched Halloween Ends because Halloween Kills was so fucking bad. Like, Halloween Kills.
Bro, it gets way worse.
Oh
Like you can't
gosh.
even imagine it gets way worse. Have
Which
you ever
makes me
wanted to see
so I'm
old
never gonna
decrepit
watch
Michael
it.
Myers? No. But
Never
there's
gonna
an old
watch it.
decrepit Michael Myers who doesn't kill people because he's living in a sewer.
So, that's first on my list. The Batman. I
Ooh.
wanted to love that so much. I thought that it's so strange because I think we talked about it on this podcast, but it's like I think the acting in it's really good. I like the art direction. I like the directing of it. Like I thought like a lot of it was really good in its execution. It's just that the story was not as good as it should have been.
Act
Um,
3, 100% is terrible in that movie. But I enjoyed a lot of the movie because I felt like it was a very detective-y movie, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
at least they gave you that, right? The next one is this movie is god awful. My kids liked it, but we know kids' opinions don't always matter. So, um, when you tell me that you are gonna give me great characters, and it's gonna be the first time I've seen them in forever, and you're gonna put them with the new characters, and I'm gonna totally I'm so hopeful for this. But to
Yeah.
know that um Laura Linney, or not Laura Linney, oh my gosh,
Laura Dern,
thank you, Laura Dern and
Sam Neill.
Sam Neill came back just for a freaking cash grab
Yep,
because
yeah, yeah.
Jurassic World Dominion was one of the biggest pieces of turd that I've ever seen
Yeah,
on film.
I'm
And they have
100% agree
only
with that.
gotten worse. Jurassic World, I actually enjoyed because it kind of was fun and just a mind. It's weird. I don't mind fun and mindless when you throw it in the way that it was with that movie. I hate it when you do it with Fast and Furious because it doesn't make sense to me. But but like in all honesty, like Jurassic World, the first one is fun. It's just I
Yeah.
was forgiving of it. That second one's got bad, and then
Yep,
this one turned into the biggest turd. Um,
absolutely agree.
this my next one of my favorite directors, one of our favorite directors.
Mhm.
Um, and I watched this movie and I don't understand why any of these people signed up. You have Tom Holland, you have Daisy Ridley, and it's directed by um oh wow, my brain is really off tonight, Shane. Um Doug Liman. You give us Chaos Walking and
Never
it's
watched it.
bad. Like I saw it free on some of the
Okay,
streaming service or something, and I was
okay.
like, it can't be that bad. Doug Liman does great movies.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and it's bad. It's bad.
Mm.
It's so blah. And it just yeah. So those are a few of mine. So I've got three more. Um,
So I've got the first Dune on there on my list because
oh yeah.
I really I grew up with the Kyle MacLachlan the Dune. Like I liked that. Again, like it's not like Star Wars great, but it was another like a sci-fi on another planet, like different world thing when I was a kid. So I honestly haven't. It's probably been 20 years since I watched it, and I keep telling myself I want to go back and rewatch it to see if it holds up how I remember liking it as a kid. So I need to do that. But like I was fairly excited because I mean it's an amazing cast in the new Dune. Like there's a lot of actors in there that I really enjoy their work. And I mean I think they picked the worst part of the story to cut it in half at. You literally gave me the entire movie of all political buildup with like no action. And then decided to just end the movie in the most bizarre place. And yeah, I was extremely disappointed with Dune when I watched it. Not I will obviously watch the second half, and I have a feeling I might like the second half better. But at the same time, like I don't need a 4.5 hour version of a story that I've already seen done well in quotes for a 2 hour version of it. So
Yeah, but I mean, we've heard a lot of people say that you know, they leave out so many things
sure,
when they make movies out of books.
yeah,
Um, and that's one of the reasons why the new Harry Potter that'll come out, I'm sure will just clean up for HBO Max because of the
yep,
fact that like you're making a television series out of a
yep.
book. So at least you get to have all of that.
Did I hear correctly that every season is going to be one of the books? So like book one is going to be like a 10 episode arc for that.
I I thought that's what I had heard, but I don't know
Okay.
for
Okay.
because it's been a long time since I saw that.
But like I'm pretty sure that I read that like the kids have to sign on for like a 10-year contract or something whenever they hire the kids for this.
So
My next one is Halloween Ends, which we just kind of touched on a second ago. Halloween Kills is not very good. I agree with you on that. There's some sequences in it that I enjoy. There's a tracking shot of him killing people in like following him through houses to kill people that I thought was pretty cool, but there is a lot of dumb stuff in Halloween Kills, and then it just gets way worse in Halloween Ends, like beyond terrible in Halloween Ends. My DCEU one that's on here is Shazam 2, because like we just talked about, I absolutely loved the first Shazam, had very high expectations for this. Because like my favorite part of the first Shazam movie is the end when they become the Shazam family. And so I was like, oh, like I'm gonna get a whole movie of the Shazam family. Like there's gonna be such great like, interaction. And then no, not at all what I got. The villains were terrible. The whole plot was dumb. Yeah, didn't enjoy that at all. Um, my buddy Snow, like this was a movie I was excited for because I think it is an absolute hilarious trailer. My buddy Snow said, it's okay, it's pretty good, but you're white. I don't know if you'll like it. And I was like, oh no, I think I'm gonna really enjoy it. And that's The Blackening, the like horror comedy spoof movie.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it did not live up to my hopes and expectations at all. Like I remember texting him when it was over, and I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. Like I'm white. I don't think I understood that movie the way I was supposed to. But yeah, so I was very disappointed in that. The last disappointment that I have on my list was The Creator, because another sci-fi movie that I was super stoked for. I thought the preview looked really cool. Thought it could have a really good like father son or father child dynamic on the run from the big bad, and it just it did not live up to my hopes with that. What's your last three, man? What are your last three things that did not live up to your expectations?
Um, Quiet Place 2.
Okay, I can agree with that. Definitely nowhere near as good as the first one.
Yeah, that first one just was so above and beyond what I was expecting it to be on the creepy factor, on the like the tension side of things. And then the second movie I just felt like was like essentially more of the same. It didn't feel like the stakes were. I mean, they had that whole sequence where like the what was it, the brother, the second one, isn't it, with like the brother's watching the little baby, and then the baby starts crying or something because he goes out even though he's not supposed to,
Something like
and then
that.
he's kind of like he almost smothers the child to death because of the fact that the baby won't be quiet and the alien things are coming out. Like, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, just that. Mortal Kombat.
I
I
didn't
want
mind that much.
I wanted to see something more and better out of that because
Okay.
like I had more fun in the 90s version, and it might have I was a, I was a kid when it came out and I didn't mind it so much and I enjoyed it, but yeah, like not a big fan. And then my last one by far, holy crap, is this movie just a big old pile of dung? Um, Snake Eyes.
Ooh,
Yeah, Joe.
ooh,
Like, like
yeah,
I wasn't expecting a whole lot out of that movie because of
yeah,
how bad the other two were, but you
sure.
took like that's the worst out of all three of them.
Yep,
Like
yeah,
and
yeah.
like and yeah, giant snakes. That's all I got. That's all I
Yeah.
got is giant.
Yeah, no.
Uh
And like I was like when you said it, I was like, oh, it wasn't really. And then the more I think about it, like I've never watched it. I've only ever watched it the one time, and yeah, it definitely was a letdown. I'll agree with you on that.
so yeah, that's
Well, let's shift gears now. We've talked about the stuff that was very disappointing to us that did not live up to our expectations. Let's talk about stuff that far exceeded our expectations that we did not expect to like as much as we did. My first one's going to be going back to 2000. Like I said, same thing. I just went back to 2000 and started looking at what's been recent. Sonic the Hedgehog, man, like that movie, I had zero expectations for. That movie was so much fun,
yeah.
lots of fun. Um, this is a movie that I like. I mean, I absolutely love Ben Affleck, so I should have. I mean, well, actually, there's two of his on this list, but first one being The Way Back. Like,
Yeah.
really expect to love it as much as I did. I didn't like. Obviously, the preview was like, oh, it's Ben Affleck and basketball and alcohol. Like, I like all of those things. I'll probably like this movie, but like just how I related to that movie just exceeded everything that I ever expected from a movie. So I love that, and obviously Ben Affleck in basketball again, a little less alcoholism, but Air obviously was another one that it's a biopic, but it's a biopic about making a basketball shoe. Like why would I ever expect it to be my favorite movie of last year? Like And neither one of those movies did I look at the trailer and go, "Oh, that looks like crap." It was just, "Oh, it's a Ben Affleck movie, okay." But I absolutely loved both of those. Next up, another COVID movie, Palm Springs. Had zero expectations for it. Just thought, "Oh, it's another time loop movie. Okay, cool." And we talked about it on our time loop or time travel time loop episode. It just came out of nowhere. It's like it's so fun and funny and hilarious from start to finish. Like, so that's another one for me. Um, I don't think this is a really a good movie, but it definitely far exceeded the very low expectations I had for it, and that was Jungle Cruise. I like it. I like it. Funny that you were doing the Roxettle eyebrow thing right there, not knowing where I was going. But how did you feel about Jungle Cruise?
It's on my list.
Is it
Uh,
okay?
yeah, I was like, it's uh
Pirates of
live
the Caribbean.
another live action Disney film, which
Yep.
they had ever since like the first Pirates of the Caribbean. I haven't cared about anything that they've done live action that
Sure.
actually has their stamp on it. Oh, I'm sorry. I think John Carter. I actually really enjoy the John Carter
Oh,
movie.
okay. Okay.
Um, but like for the most part, if it has a Disney stamp at the front of it and it's a live action movie, like they're batting horribly. And then for them to put that crew together, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of those ones where I watched it. I had Nick watch it as soon as he was like one of the last times I worked at the theater. He came with me to work and like watched a bunch of
Oh,
movies, and he
nice. Yep.
watched that. And then once it first hit like Disney Plus, I had Letha watch it, and Letha and I watched it together. So it's
Nice.
definitely something that I wasn't expecting to be good, and
Yep.
way better than I thought it was going to be. So
Absolutely. Like I mean, it literally is just essentially the Pirates of the Caribbean done again. Like it has a
oh
very
yeah.
similar plot to it, but like, yeah, my expectations were so low because of, like you said, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies went so terrible after the first one that like very low expectations with this, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Give me some more of yours, or give me some of yours.
Bad Boys for Life
Okay, okay, definitely better than I expected.
that came out in 2020. Was not
Yep,
expecting it to be good. It was one of those movies where I love the first one. The second one's so crappy.
so
I,
terrible.
I thought for sure that this third one was going to be just as crappy. And it's not fantastic by any means, but it's definitely better than the second one. And I actually, there's a little couple of moments writing wise where I'm like, that so shouldn't have happened. They should have done something different there. But for the most part, I'll give a tip of the hat to him because that
Yeah.
one was so. Call of the Wild.
I
Uh,
haven't seen that.
Harrison Ford is in this movie.
Okay,
Uh, goes to Alaska to like find his riches,
okay.
based on the book by Jack London.
That's what I
Um,
was about to ask about because I know I've seen like the '90s version that they did of this, so I was
yeah,
wondering if it was the same story.
so so much better than I ever thought.
It's cool.
Watched it in the theater. I think I QC'd it. Um, and then another one. As soon as I had the opportunity at home to show it, I had my older boys sit down and watch it. Um,
Awesome.
because I thought it was such a good movie. So and then Boss Level.
Oh, okay. You actually really enjoyed that, huh?
Horrible. Like it's horrible, right? Like it's
Yeah.
such a bad B movie, but like
Yeah.
Grillo looks like he's having so much fun in that movie, and Mel
True.
Gibson too. And then you throw in Gronk, you put in Rob Gronkowski as a Gatling gun operator. Like it doesn't deserve a whole lot of like praise, but I was expecting absolute dog shit.
Okay.
So
Sure.
for
Yeah.
me to turn that movie on and then be like, okay, that's
Okay.
entertaining enough for me.
Sure.
So because that's
And like,
another one,
I guess,
Groundhog's Day, where he's
yeah.
looped. He keeps
Yep.
getting every time he dies.
Yep.
And it's just that like, okay, this is so ridiculous, but it's fun. So
Yeah. Okay.
let's go over to some of yours.
All right. My next one would be Man, I had zero expectations for this. I only watched it because I heard good things about it. Did you ever end up watching Coda, the Apple Plus movie about the
No.
sign language family? Like, bro, I had zero
Children
expectations.
children of deaf adults. Isn't that what
Yeah,
it's? Yep.
yep. I had zero expectations for it, but like it was during COVID, it was all over my Facebook feed that everybody said it was amazing. So I was like, we did a family movie night at the time, and we all sat down and watched it together, and we all three of us loved it. Like it absolutely amazing film. Like I still highly recommend it. Um, after you watch Short Term 12, you can watch Coda.
Let's not hold our breath on that one.
Yeah. Dude, Ghostbusters Afterlife, man. I did not have any like obviously the second Ghostbusters is whatever it is. The third Ghostbusters is absolutely terrible, and I didn't enjoy it at all. So I had very low expectations, and I just had a lot of fun with it. I mean, I love Paul Rudd, so obviously, like, I enjoyed him being a part of it and whatnot. I I'm one of those people that I love how they connected it back to the first movie. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. So I really enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife. Adam Sandler's Hustle. I had zero expectations for that, and it far surpassed everything I thought when I fired it up. Lots of fun. Top Gun Maverick I have on here. I don't really think I had high expectations for it, but I mean, it was it was better than I don't remember having high expectations, but I remember it being better than I expected it to be. So that made my list. Prey,
Okay. Yeah.
the Predator movie,
I
like that
easily could have been
definitely,
on my list.
yeah, that definitely was far better than I ever expected it to be. I watched it because it was the middle of COVID, and it was a Predator movie, so I wanted to see what going in with very low expectations after our last couple Alien versus Predator fiascos. But yeah, I absolutely really enjoyed Prey. I thought it was very well done. A Christmas Story Christmas, the sequel to A Christmas Story. So like back in the 80s, they did Christmas Story 2. And I've
Yeah.
only ever watched it once because it was absolute dog shit. Like it was absolutely terrible. So by the time A Christmas Story Christmas rolled around, I was like, why are they trying to cash grab on doing another sequel to this story? And it's absolutely amazing. It is so nostalgic. They made Ralphie a writer, so he goes back home for the holidays, trying to write a novel, trying to find inspiration to write a book. Um, Man, it hits me as a Christmas movie and him being a writer. Like, it's going back to your hometown, seeing all your old friends. Like he catches up with everybody at this age, and I don't know, man. Like I really, really enjoyed it. And I didn't expect to. You got any more on your list?
Yeah. The Gentleman,
Oh, I still
uh,
haven't watched that.
directed by Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie, yeah,
And it's got Hugh, is Hugh
Charlie
Grant?
Hunnam's in it, right?
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam's in it. Matthew McConaughey's in it. The guy who was Snake Eyes, Ben, I can't remember what his last name is, but like such I Guy Ritchie films are just so hit and miss for me that a
Sure.
lot of time I'm just expecting it to not be good. And then, then something, it was fantastic. It was one of the best movies of
Nice.
that year. So, um, you took Ghostbusters Afterlife from me.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
cool.
agree with you on that. Wonka, just for the simple fact that I was not
Really?
expecting. I saw the trailer and I was like, I could have fun with this, but I'm expecting it to suck.
Yeah.
And then I went in and watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it. It was silly enough and it's almost like instead of it being a real prequel to instead of it being a prequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, it's almost like this is his origin story in Universe A, whereas Willy Wonka takes place in Universe B kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
They probably mean for it to be able to go together, but I don't
Okay.
see it that way. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was fun. Totally adorable for the kids. Uh,
Nice.
so, so there's that. I'm a sucker for her. Every
Okay.
time she makes one of these, I'm always like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, and you're gonna think it's horrible, but you keep going back.
Okay.
and she doesn't disappoint when she makes rom-coms. Jennifer Lopez's "Marry Me" with Owen Wilson was
Oh, yeah, that was better
I
than expected.
I expected it to be crap, and then
Sure.
yeah, and it was better than I thought it was going to be. It's such the same like cookie cutter story, and but it yeah, I don't know what it was about that one. And then my last one that I have is I was super excited about this movie just because of who was directing it and where the original information or the original inspiration came from. Uh, Being a huge fan of musicals, I thought this was going to be fantastic, and it was still better than I thought it was going to be, which was Tick Tick Boom. So,
Yeah, we
uh,
disagree a little bit on that. I think the movie itself is fine, but I didn't get what I wanted out of it.
and I get where you're coming from, but I honestly didn't know anything about Tick Tick Boom besides the
Sure.
fact it was Jonathan Larson's first thing that he ever had gotten put on stage.
Yeah.
Um, and since I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't, unlike you, I don't like to read
And
about that stuff before I go see my movies. I don't mind reading about them afterwards or watching anything
no, it's
afterwards.
it's not even reading about it. It's literally in the Rent documentary. Like it covered it in the Rent documentary. Like I didn't go out and like I found out about it in 2006 when I watched the Rent documentary.
Not everybody watches all the special features.
I
So
know I miss special features.
I did not watch the Rent documentary, or if I did, I don't remember that portion of it. I do remember, but Vanessa Hudgens is in it. Alexandra, I think it's her name's Alexandra Ship.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then you have Andrew Garfield and all the cameos that happened in that movie. And every time that somebody else was on the screen that I was not expecting to show up. Like it was just a cameo after cameo. And I remember us watching it with Dion, and I was
Yep.
getting all excited because I was like, oh my God, that's so and so. And then you guys are like, I don't know who that is. And it's like, and so many stage actors and
Sure.
showed up on there that I was super, super excited
A
about. So I was
lot of
happy.
the original cast of Rent had cameos in there. Anthony
Yep.
and Adam are both in there, and that's a great scene with them.
And then you have Mimi, the original Mimi, and did Idina show up? I thought she did. I might be
I
wrong.
can't remember where she was if
Thought
she. But,
I thought she was in that diner sequence, but I might be wrong. So,
I mean, there was a lot of people in the diner sequence, so it's very possible.
yeah,
But yeah, that's all. And again, it's not that movie wasn't a bad movie. I just didn't get what I wanted out of it, and that was the only disappointment to me. I actually need to. I should go watch it again now that I know what I've only ever watched it that one time we watched it. I should give it another go now that I know what I'm getting into with it. I will probably enjoy it a lot more. What's
she
up?
was not
Okay.
in. So,
Okay.
Idina was not. I'd like to know
Cool.
why she wasn't in it, because considering how much they put everybody else in.
Right.
So,
Yeah, could have been a scheduling thing.
special info.
Nobody knows. But yeah, man. Oh, was a good episode. This was a good time talking about things that made us happy and things that pissed us off. So it's always fun. You got anything to wrap up the episode with?
No, not really. I'm
Any
super
tangents
excited.
for us to go on?
I'm super excited about what you and I have done for Cookie Wars Part 2.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that. Hell yeah. I've had such a blast editing that, man. It is I can't wait for it to be done. Like I cannot wait for people to see it because I'm very proud with what we did. Granted, we need to stick to our plan of shooting Cookie Wars 3 in the summer, fall when it's still warm out and not have to do all this stuff in the cold weather. But man, the green screen's been a lot of fun working with. I think it's been a lot of fun. We got a lot of people, we got all your kids involved with it. We got some, Mark and Ben being involved with it. Like, I think it turned out pretty well. And I've been having a
Well,
lot of fun editing.
I was showing the rough cut to my kids earlier this evening, and
Nice.
it was one of those things where the sequence with the three boys is perfect comedy wise for me.
Yep.
So but yeah, it's definitely, I had a whole lot of fun making it. So thank you for working with me on it. We're
Absolutely, man.
happy to make it for Sarah. And we'll definitely even post it in the Shane Talks
For
uh
sure.
book group once it's completed. So
Yeah, I mean, Marie asked me today at work. She made a comment. She's like, "I'm waiting to see this year's video," and I'm like, "We're almost there. We're almost done." I said, "I literally sent Jason the list of the last couple of elements that I need," and then when we talked earlier, you brought up some other stuff that we're gonna put in there, and I think that's gonna make it even better. And yeah, man, I'm so excited. I love what we've done, and I cannot wait for it to be done for people to see because I'm very proud of it this year.
yeah. My hope is I have an idea on filming something, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
And if you can use it or not. So but yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm super excited about getting that finished up so that everybody can see your hard work and everybody else that worked on it too. So but yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, and I mean, it's been a blast editing what you gave me to edit. You've directed a bunch of people this year for it, so I am very excited for you to have this as a director credit for you. Yeah, like I said, it's just been fun putting it together. I mean, obviously we're all Star Wars nerds, so that makes it fun to be involved with. But like seeing what we've been able to do with the green screen, what we've been able to do with what's up,
Well,
which
I
is
just thought about it. You remember what Mark said that he had gotten that he has to build?
a rubber knife.
No. The what he has to build is the for Star Wars.
No, I don't remember. I know he told me. I can't remember.
Gotcha. So he talked about how they have official stormtrooper plans.
Yes.
Some
Yep.
contact with it's got the proper plans for it. And all I thought about was, holy crap, we could literally film one person in this outfit in front of a green screen and have them do a bunch of different movements, and then we could
Sure.
just overlap it and make like
Ooh, yeah.
entire
Yeah.
battalion of stormtroopers.
Troopers.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that popped into my head just now. So not that I want to make more and more and more and more work for you, but
No, that could be fun though.
so yeah.
Well, I mean, will he have that done in the next couple of days? Like, I want to get this out there
No,
too.
not for this year. I was thinking
Oh,
for
for
next year.
next year. Okay. Ah, nice. Gotcha. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, man. And like, I mean, I've never mentioned this to anybody yet, but while we have this entire green wall in Dave's basement right now, like, I just keep thinking to myself, I would love to get like 4 or 5 people together and just come up with the most ridiculous soap opera that we could write and just film everybody in front of a green screen and do it like the room style where I just put backgrounds behind people. But we literally just have like people doing the most ridiculous arguments and getting in fights and like literally it's just like soap opera level ridiculous stuff. Like somebody gets amnesia at one point, but then they get their like just doing the most bizarre, bonkers, ridiculous stuff, filming it all in front of this green screen, and then just figuring out something to do with it. I think that would be hilarious to make like a literal
Interesting
terrible soap
exercise.
opera. Yeah, I mean, we've got a green screen. We can literally just film a whole bunch of shit in front of this green screen. I could literally put people anywhere we wanted to put them on a beach, at a hospital, in an apartment, anywhere having these ridiculous conversations. I don't know. That's what I've been trying to figure out something for us to do with the green screen before we have to take it, or the green wall before we have to take it down.
Yeah. All right, sir. Well, it's
Awesome,
been a
dude. Well,
pleasure.
thank you for everything. We're going to be back mid-month this month. We'll do a February 14th episode. It'll be our last Valentine's Day episode together. But we'll talk about rom-coms again, after we stare into each other's eyes for a long period of time. And we'll talk about our favorite rom-com movies. And I don't know, we'll have to go back and rewatch our last rom-com episode to make sure we don't, rehash any of that stuff. And it'll just be really romantic. I'll make sure there's candles on the table and I'll light it really well and we'll have a great Valentine's Day episode together.
You might do that episode by yourself there, buddy.
There's so many things I want to say back to that comment, but we are going to keep this PG and not go there. All right, everybody, thank you for making it. Oh wait, why am I keeping it PG? We don't keep anything else on this show fucking PG.
Just go. We don't.
All right,
we
we're gonna end the episode. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. All right, thanks. Bye.